Hello. Let's imagine a world in which the Roman Empire never fell. There are no dark ages, no barbarian kingdoms, no collapse of a great civilization. If Rome had managed to maintain its power, maintain its administrative structure and military superiority, then the entire history of Europe and the whole world would have taken a different path. The political stability that Rome provided would have made it possible to avoid the chaos that followed its fall. Instead of petty kingdoms and feudal fragmentation, we would have had a powerful centralized state that would have controlled most of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. A huge imperial administration, based on the principles of Roman law, would have ensured a clear structure of society, and cities would have continued to grow, not decline, as happened after the barbarian invasions. The trade routes that connected Rome with the most distant parts of the world would not have ceased to exist, but would have continued to develop. Merchants would travel from Britain to India using the extensive network of Roman roads and ports, and the Roman navy would dominate the seas, preventing pirates and foreigners from threatening the security of the empire. If Rome's political power were to be preserved, this would also have a significant impact on the development of religion and culture. Christianity, which had already become the official religion of the empire in the 4th century, could develop under strict state control, without splitting into numerous sects and currents. Rome could introduce a single orderly religious system in which the church would act as one of the state institutions that ensure the unity of society. This could prevent the schisms that occurred in real history and create a more harmonious religious tradition that would influence the political and social structure of the empire. Moreover, cultural development could continue without the interruptions that medieval wars and the decline of ancient knowledge brought. Greek philosophy, Roman architecture, medical and scientific achievements of antiquity would not have been lost, but would have become the basis for further inventions and technological progress. Imagine huge cities that continue to grow and develop according to the model of Rome, with aqueducts, forums, amphitheaters, and libraries, which preserve the invaluable heritage of human thought. Education in such an empire would be accessible, systematized, and science could make a leap forward hundreds of years earlier than it happened in reality. The absence of the Dark Ages would mean that technological progress did not stop for several centuries, but continued uninterrupted. Already in the Middle Ages, the first machines could appear, advance astronomical knowledge and mechanisms that in our reality only arose during the Renaissance or even later. This would mean that by the 19th century, humanity could have reached the level of technological development that we see today. Of course, such a scenario also assumes that Rome could have modernized its army, adapted to new challenges, and avoided the mistakes that led to its decline. If the Roman legions had not become tactically obsolete and the empire had been able to reform its recruitment system, it could have continued its successful conquests in defense of its territories. Perhaps by our time, all of Europe, the Middle East, parts of Asia, and North Africa would have remained a single cultural space dominated by Roman law, the Latin language, or its later variations, and a common political system. Even the colonization of America in such a world could have taken a different path. Instead of numerous competing European states, new provinces of Greater Rome could have been formed overseas, governed on the model of ancient colonies. The architectural appearance of the modern world would also be completely different. Instead of Gothic cathedrals, medieval castles, and narrow streets of old towns, we would see majestic buildings built in the spirit of Roman classicism, cities planned according to clear geometric principles, wide streets decorated with colonnades and forums that preserve the tradition of ancient urban planning. Imagine what megacities like New York, London, or Tokyo would look like if they were built according to Roman standards, with temples, baths, basilicas, airports, and skyscrapers made in the style of Roman architecture. Technological progress together with centralized administration could have prevented many wars and crises that have occurred in our history. Perhaps even the First and Second World Wars would never have happened, since the world would have remained united under the control of the Roman state system, without fragmentation and conflicts between nation-states. However, such a world would not be perfect. The absolute power of the emperor could lead to excessive centralization and totalitarianism, restricting personal freedoms or suppress